The Ball Guy Show starts right now. Hope you enjoy the show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. What's up, everybody? Another episode of the Ball Guy Show. Man, I got my boy Theo Bray here, man. We've been trying to get together for at least, 2-3 years, man.
Done, man.
Bro, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of this guy. And we're going to get into a lot of his story, which is deep. Not just his background, not just what he's been doing on film and all that, but his story is deep. All right, but before we go into that, I want to talk about, man, if you live in the DFW area like we do, we've been getting hit with a lot of hail, a lot of storms. If you have any auto damage because of your hail, any of the hailstorm, hit my boy Tim. He's going to take care of you. He knows what to do. Don't worry about what needs to be done with the insurance. Call him. Call Tim. He will handle you. He'll take care of your issue. Another thing is Wepa.fm. They are the ultimate, the best bilingual radio station. Theo, if you like dance music, if you like old school music, if you like new school music, this is the station to have on. Download it, guys. After this episode, download this station. It's the station I listen to on my way to work, during work hours. All right. If I'm tired and while I'm working out, yeah, it doesn't look like I work out, but I just started recently working out. Yeah, I did. I just recently started working out again. All right. But this is the station I listen to. All right. It's the best station in the world. Let's get into it, man. I'm so happy. Listen, before we get into it, I was looking at your IMDb page.
Okay.
Dude, you got a lot of stuff coming out. This man has over 100 credits, 130 credits or something to your name. But you have a lot of stuff coming out, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into that, let's tell me about you, man. Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into film.
Yeah, man. Native of Fort Worth, Texas. Shout out to Funky Town. Yeah, man. Got involved in the arts. I was a trouble kid growing up, right? And so, I was an athlete as well, but the school pretty much ran out of resources, didn't know what to do with me. And so as a last ditch effort, they said, okay, let's put him in theater arts. And so at first I was like, I got in theater arts. I was like, nah, I went back to the council. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take this off my schedule. I don't know what this is. I'm not good at it. But then they were like, well, this is the only elective that we have left. And you got to have, an elective to graduate. And so I had to hang in there. And it ended up becoming something for me that I needed in my life. It was the first thing that taught me discipline. It also taught me that I wasn't invincible, right? Because when you're working on a project, a production stage, you can't miss rehearsal, right? You can't, and even if you do, you better make sure when you come back the next day that you're at the top of your game, And so it was something that came like right on time, for me. And stepped away from it, after that, some other callings and different things of that nature. And then I came back to the arts in 2014. Yeah.
Cool. And what kind of arts is it exactly? Yeah.
So, so apart from acting, spoken word artist, so I'm a recording artist.
Which I just found out.
Yeah. So that, and then, when I came back to the arts in 2014, kind of wanted a different challenge. So I was like, let me try my hand in front of the camera. And so a lot of film, TV, commercial stuff, and done a little bit of directing too. So just love it, man. Yeah.
And as a recording artist, how many records have you done?
Yeah, so I dropped my first album, Blindsided, back in 2008, and working on an EP, God willing, being able to get volume 2 of this new spoken word project going. So yeah, man, I'm excited.
Nice,
Excited about my single. Godflex is on the way.
Cool, man. Let's talk about your films, man. What project has meant the most to you?
Oh,
Why?
that's loaded.
Yeah, because listen, I've had quite a few, not just directors or actors, but musicians as well.
Yeah.
And these are all like their babies.
Yeah.
It's like their children. What's your favorite child?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna ask you which one's been your favorite film,
Okay.
but or your favorite song, or no, but which has been the project that you say, even you can say one that you're currently working on, that you say this is the one that's been the most impactful, this is the one that's been the most meaningful, and why?
Well, I have to start with one of them that I wrote and directed called Blind Trauma. Blind Trauma is a film that sheds light on domestic violence, intimate partner violence, but from a male perspective. Because there are a lot of men that are being victimized,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have nobody's giving voice to it, right? And so a lot of times, as men, we suffer in silence, many times because we think nobody will believe us, one, and then sometimes two, we don't want to come across as weak.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to hide in whatever it is and just hope, wish that that it changes, that it stops, that it goes away. And so that movie is personal to me because it captures a chapter, my own personal journey. I've been in ministry for almost 30 years, and I was in ministry at the time where this film came from. I was in ministry, and I made a bad choice in terms of who I was going to marry. So I was previously married, and thank God I have a drama-free wife right now. Shout out to Theo Bray. But once upon a time, I made a bad choice, right? And my mother, God rest her soul, she met my first wife, and she met her one time because moms know, and she saw right through it. She saw her on her best day and saw right through it, and she told me, she said, "Son, don't do it," and I did it anyway, and I went on the ride of my life.
Wow. Yeah. I know what you mean. My wife is good at that. My wife could smell, dude. My wife has told me many times, be careful. Be careful. I gotta tell you my story one day about I nearly, well, might as well. Yeah. Might as well. This it is about you, but I want to share it with you real quick how smart women are, and for fellas, for those of you who are married, listen to your spouse, listen to your wife.
You heard it.
And she says, be careful. Watch out. Be careful.
No, for real.
And my wife, and I got into trouble. I messed around, flirted, which many people, well, that's not bad. Guys, flirting is a form of cheating. Yeah. Let's call it what it is.
It is.
It's infidelity.
It is.
At the same time.
It is.
Emotionally, even though nothing happened, we never went out, never kissed, but I did dabble with be flirtation with this other female, and then once I realized that, man, this is getting a little, I backed off, but it was too late. My wife found out, and we were on the verge of divorce. Wow. This was 14 years ago. 14 years ago, I think. Yeah. 14 years ago. 13 years ago. 13 years ago, but fortunately, we were able to reconnect, and right now I'm more in love with my wife than ever.
Yeah, love it, man.
13 years later, I'm more in love with my wife than ever.
Yeah.
and I can say the same thing from her.
Yeah.
We are deeply in love. Yeah. We took 26 years of marriage this year, but yeah, women know, bro. Women know.
Yeah.
So listen,
Yeah.
And we gotta be watchful. But I saw the movie. I saw the film Black Trauma. If your first wife was anywhere near the way it was portrayed in the film,
that was mild.
What?
That was mild.
Dude, that's borderline.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's borderline. I don't know how the way that was portrayed. It was scary.
Yeah. One of the things that I tried to do in that film is I tried to dignify the character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe God can change anybody.
Amen to that. Thank God for that.
And so, because a lot of times, when you see a story like that, sometimes people will portray that character in such a way, just bad, and there's nothing redemptive about it. And so, I wanted to make sure that I know God can change anybody. He changed me.
Amen.
So who am I to think that he couldn't change somebody else?
Yeah. Instead of demonizing her, So how much of that film is fiction? How much of that film is true, or is it totally true? So
no, it's true. I mean, I had to.
Are you still a pastor?
No. So I was in ministry, then, and long story short, I had. Trying to remember how it all happened. It all happened so fast. Let me just say it this way. Once she filed for divorce, I never forget. She filed for divorce like 5 days before Christmas. She called me. I never forget. I was at work, and she called me. It was December 20th. She said, "Hey, I was thinking she was getting ready to tell me something good." And she said, "Hey, I just want to call and let you know I filed for divorce today."
Like that, with that tone, like that. Like if it was good news.
Yeah. I was like, okay. And I used to work in mediation, right, at the time. And so I was working with people on their cases and working with, civil matters, family matters, I got a chance to see God even, people that came to get a divorce, and then something happened in the negotiations, and God was able to, turn a marriage around. And here I was helping all these people with all these different things. And then I never forget, I was going into the lobby to, greet one of my clients, and a deputy walked in and served me papers. I had to, excuse me, guys, walk outside, sign for it, get my papers, put my clown mask on, and walk back in like nothing. Humiliated, embarrassed. I lost everything, man. I had to start over. Wow, I lost everything in that season, but God, man. So I'm still in my coming out party from that. Yeah.
What was going through your head while filming that?
It was some heavy moments, because there were moments that I hadn't that I had to relive, all over again, because I played myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was moments that, it got to be like really, really heavy, but I was the actress who played the character, Ranshika Irvin. I'll never forget, there was a scene where it was supposed to be a volatile scene, right? And she was wanting to play it safe, and she was being like too nice. I said, no, if you're gonna do justice to the character, you gotta come on with it. So I made her mad on purpose.
What you do?
I don't remember, but whatever I did, it worked. I made her mad on purpose to get it out of her. But on screen, hopefully it translates well and people are able to see it like, man, you know, because usually good things don't happen in situations like that, right? People end up, I've seen people end up dead. I've seen people end up locked up. And I think my greatest takeaway from that is not just for me, but even for you know, the young lady who used to be my first wife, is that God was able to sever it before any one of us, you know, did that kind of harm to one another, or somebody ended up dead, or somebody ended up in jail because the volatile nature of that relationship, you know. And I was trying my hardest to hang in there, you know. But the problem with being in relationships that are not good for you is that they can end up bringing out the worst in you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as we, you know, got to the end of the road, I found that this relationship was starting to bring out the worst in me, and it was scary to me because I'm not trying to dig that dude back up. I'm not trying to dig him back up. And so I thank God that he stepped in and he severed that thing for both of our sakes. Because I don't know what could have happened.
Was there a moment during the film that you said this is too much?
No.
Mm-mm. Where
because the story had to be, it had to be shared. It had to be shared, but I had to do it for men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So no, as raw as it needed to be, whatever. I was like, no. I said, I got to do this for the men.
Well, like you said earlier, men have been victims.
Sure.
And usually, when the woman goes out crying, and again, spoiler alerts, when the woman goes crying to their counselor or the therapist and say, "Oh, it was me. He hit me.
Yeah.
He hit me."
Yeah.
They usually believe.
Oh,
and then when the friend said,
absolutely.
"If you don't have no bruises,
Absolutely.
make sure there's some bruises." You get something, hit yourself, or grab yourself hard enough, or grab a friend. Say, buddy, can you grab me hard enough where it could be a man handprint?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's believable, and then the men get and the part of the friend screwed.
Yeah, I mean, and I even had to, I even had to fight to clear my name in court.
Mm. I was going to ask you how long was that process?
Not very long. See, what I did know was that there were charges that had been filed against me when I hadn't even done anything. And so these charges are out there. And then when I caught wind of, you know, I started getting consultations from different attorneys and things of that nature. And I remember walking into one attorney. He was like, "Hey, this is my situation, and this is what's going on." And I had a big stack of like character reference letters. And he was like, "Why do you need my help?" And so I ended up fighting the case myself. And on the court date, she didn't show up.
Wow. And that alone helped you, right? Wow. I noticed at the end of the film, to be continued. Are we expecting continuation of your life and life after that?
Yeah. Because I want people to know also too that that there's life after divorce.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, because some people don't think that life after divorce exists. And, sometimes, when you had a situation, so painful to your core, some people are like, you know what, I don't even want to mess with that
You
again.
decide, man, this is special.
I don't know that was ever my, I don't know if that was ever a realization that I had. I just wanted to tell the story. So, I mean, I didn't really have any, oh, this is going to be this. And I really didn't have that. I was like, if anything, I knew that it was going to be, the reception of it was going to be harder for the viewing audience to receive, just because typically when you see narratives like that, you have it, from a female perspective. And there are a whole host of films out there. And no, it's nothing wrong with those films.
Right.
But I saw it as pioneering a new pathway for men to tell stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't have any, if anything, I just wanted to dig up the ground.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw the film as.
How did the film or the project change you in any way?
Wow, let me see. That's an interesting question. Did it change me? I think so. I think, because it was from then, that I was able to like share my story more, and so it gave me more voice to be able to give other men the freedom to, reveal their hurts, their pains, the silent struggles and things of that nature that many of them were having, and just didn't think that, anybody saw them, heard them, understood them. And so, yeah.
And again, and this is interesting because many people don't see these stories.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's important. It's sad that happened, and but it is, again, God gives his strongest soldiers, or certain of the soldiers, certain tests, or certain trials.
Yeah.
Why? So it can be part of our testimony.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Any other films that you had to put your spin or your own personal life into those films?
Dry Places was another one
that
I wrote and directed, and just as a husband, sometimes, we're striving so hard to love our wives, love our families, and that kind of deal, but we're not allowing the Lord to do it through us. And so that's really what Dry Places was all about. Really just coming to the end of myself and just allowing God to love my wife through me. Same thing with my kids. And so that, and then I had the opportunity to direct and play in the movie From Hood to Good. If you've had a chance to see that as well. True story about Gerald Middleton and his story and what God did for him. But there were so many parallels, as I was directing that film, it made me so grateful, because all of our lives, many of our lives are really a combination of covered and kept, right? And so when I look at the story of my life, I was like, man, yes, I've done some things that I'm not proud of. Yes, I mean, some of them are mentionable, but man, there's so much God kept me. And directing that one was special. He went to prison, and God turned his life around. God turned my life around before I went to prison. So I didn't even have to go to prison. And so, I'm just grateful, because if God gave me what I deserved, then it would have been, the same route, or who knows, I might not even be in the free world right now.
Amen to that. Yeah, God is the God of second chances.
Yeah.
And third chances and fourth. Again, I've been given so many chances by the Lord.
Man.
I mean, so
yeah.
And yeah, and these films are available for free on Tubi. So
Yep.
get Tubi. Same thing. Download Tubi. And if you have a smart TV, it's probably already on there. So check out his films. Great films. What kind of filmmaker do you believe you are at your core?
I pride myself in telling stories that are either faith-based or something that has a redemptive story arc to it. I just don't want to make a movie just to make a movie.
That which is interesting. That makes sense. So it's safe to say you found your style.
Oh,
You're still not discovering it. You found your style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a story you still want to tell that you have not told yet?
Man, probably, and I haven't written it yet, but it's in my heart.
It's up here.
my healing journey, man. I mean, the last almost 9 months, I'm just a firm believer we don't go through what we go through for nothing, and I don't believe that God allowed me to experience what I experienced for nothing. And I'm going to use the experience and all the other ones that I have for His glory. And so I don't know what I'm going to call it, but definitely one day hope to turn that into a film, whether it's a short, whether it's I don't know, but I got to get it out though.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into your healing journey as well, because that's amazing. Because that was a scary time.
Yeah,
absolutely. That was a scary time.
Absolutely.
What themes keep showing up in your work without you even trying?
Faith, discipline, turning obstacles to opportunities. Perseverance, commitment, grit. Yeah.
Why are these so important to your storytelling?
I mean, it's the lifeblood of who I am. Every filmmaker that's ever made a film, every film has an agenda. And typically, when you have a film being expressed, there are subliminal messages in a lot of ways about whoever that content creator is that are being expressed in that film. And so, yeah.
Do you believe that, maybe not every filmmaker, but do you think most filmmakers, some filmmakers, they're like you, that they're somewhat telling their version of their own story through the films?
Yeah, in some ways. Yeah. Some more than others, but your handprint is going to be it's impossible.
Yeah. Well, back to Blind Trauma.
Yeah.
Was there times where it almost fell apart during the film? Or were there, I don't ask you, was there a time where you said, no. All right, let me rephrase that question.
Okay.
What was the toughest part that you had to sit back and actually take some time away? Was there ever a time that you had to take time away and really rethink before filming certain parts of the film?
I think there's a scene in there where the actress who played my mother gives me a warning. That scene was heavy. My mother, went on to be with the Lord in 2014, and so it was heavy. Because it made me miss her, all over again. So I would probably say that one. And then there's another scene in the film, without giving the movie away, where the actress who played my first wife fessed up to the fact that the charges that were brought against me were all bogus. And that was that was hard, because I'm directing this, and then I had to relive it again because the trajectory of my life could have been different had those charges stood.
How did you get through those times refilming that, having to film that? How did you get through that tough, having to relive it?
I mean, it was just I wanted to feel it. I had to feel it all over again, so that because I wasn't trying to numb the pain, because I wanted it to come across and be authentic, so that other people would feel what I felt, and maybe what somebody else going through a situation like that, what they felt. So yeah, I welcomed, I embraced the pain that came with it.
Now, directing actors, as a director, how do you bring the best out of your actors?
I think it depends on the actors that you're working with. Like for new actors, sometimes you have a character in mind, you have a portrayal in mind, and sometimes they're still just struggling. And so I feel like I've always felt this way, that as a director, it's my job to make the actor look good. And so if that means that I need to make some adjustments without taking away from the story, without taking away from the essence of who the character is, but if I need to tweak some things, make some adjustments, whether it's dialogue, whether it's whatever it is, then I'm willing to do that, so that the vessel that's bringing the character forth can be able to do it with confidence and conviction. And so, but then there are sometimes, there are some actors you can be more direct with, and you're like, hey, I'm not getting this out of you, and this is what I need. But then there are, sometimes, you're trying to wrap your head around, okay, what's going on. Sometimes people bring personal things to set, and I'm more interested in the person at the end of the day, more than anything. So I'll sit and have a conversation, or go walk and talk with an actor and find out what's going on, because I don't want whatever is going on to bleed into the performance. But at the end of the day, whatever character you play, whatever role you play, my motto has always been this: there are no stars on the set. The star is the project.
I like that.
And so if we can all remember that, then we're going to serve the story well. And so I try to keep the main thing. I don't work with divas. I don't. I don't care how talented they are. I don't work with divas. I won't do it.
Too much drama.
Too much drama. I mean, the work alone is hard enough as it is. I don't need people that are hard to work with.
Let's pause here for a second. 35. Giving actors freedom, or do you have a specific direction?
It's a combination.
Okay.
It's a combination of I have a specific direction, but I love to mobilize actors to be artists. And so I love I tell actors all the time, once they get cast, I tell them, I'm going to direct you, but I don't want to coach you. And so in order for that to happen, I need you to bring something to the set when we get to set. If I don't like it, we'll tweak it. And we'll find that medium, to where it serves the story, but you got a chance to play too. Because if you don't have fun with it, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in robots. I like working with artists.
Have there ever been a time where the actor has taken your vision somewhere better than what you actually had?
Oh my goodness! A good example of that is the young lady who played the lead role in Blind Trauma. That was her first lead.
Really?
That was her first.
Nice.
That was her first lead role, and she brought things to the character that I never even envisioned for the character.
I love that.
And just she was Rashika was just so fun to work with. She was fun to direct. Um, a director's dream, man. She was prepared. You know, I can't say enough good things about her. Yeah. I mean, there are other actors as well, but she, right off the top of my head, what she did and who she is. Yeah, absolutely.
When you're acting versus directing, how does your mindset change? And mind you, I know you've done both. And
Yeah.
I know you've only you have you don't act in every film you direct, right?
No.
So that's a double. That's two questions there. How's your mindset change, and how's your mindset when you're doing both at the same time?
Yeah, well, when I'm doing both at the same time, I think it depends on the scene. So if I'm doing like a really, really serious scene, then I will take off my director hat and give it to somebody else and say, "Hey, you direct this scene for me," and and go from there. But when you are directing and acting, it's a balancing act, But it challenges you to take your game to the next level, because you got to be on top of it. You got to know the story in and out. You're going to act and direct. But then when I'm just directing and not acting, I love that, for a different reason, because I get a chance to. It's almost like clay, right? You get a chance to just see this raw clay, just develop and form and become something that you just never imagine, and you're watching it, play out in real time. And then I love it also too, because I love when people start to get confidence, from it, and because I give them liberty to play, and then the next thing you know, how it affects their personhood even. And so I'm somebody who I care about the person first, the artist second.
Difficult, but you find it hard to turn off that director brain or that director hat when you're acting.
No, I know how to. When it's time for me to be an authority, I know when it's time to do that. But then I know when it's time for me to come under authority, and I don't mind doing that, because I'm a team player. The same motto that I have, for other actors when I'm directing on the set: the star is the project. When I'm on somebody else's set, I'm there to serve the story, and so I'm not interested in myself, what I bring to the table. None of that stuff. It's about the project. And so and my goal is to do the best that I can to help them tell the vision that they have and serve the story in the best way. So, nah.
Besides blind trauma,
Yeah.
have you ever had to go to a really dark place for a role, or to direct?
Yeah. So as an actor, I think one of the darkest roles that I ever played, and I played some dark ones. I played a pedophile once.
Ooh.
Yeah. And for me, when I play dark roles, I just don't think about it. It's like, I'm a visual person, right? So you're not thinking word picture. So it's like a swimming pool, right? So there's the shallow end, and then there's the deep end. And so if you're gonna play roles like that, you can't be half cocked when you're playing roles like that. You just got to get down in the deep end and just jump, and not care what it looks like, and not judge the character, and try to find some way to through your portrayal justify that character's behavior and make them look like a good guy. So it's a twisted way of, yeah.
Which makes sense because if you think too much about it,
right,
you're gonna be, depending on the person, you're gonna be disgusted,
yeah.
or you gotta start psyching. Oh, that's not me. And no,
I played an abuser before, and that was another dark role. I played a character named. I'm playing. Let me say that because we're still filming. We hadn't finished it yet, but a guy named Grandin, who is a serial killer.
oh, wow,
Oh, yeah.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
What's something about filmmaking people don't see or understand?
How hard it is. The hours that it takes. The commitment to excellence, commitment to being an artist that you have to be, not just mass producing, just putting things out just to get something out there. It's like, no, we want it to be of excellence. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't, but you do your best, and it's harder than what it looks like.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember I told you that before we started filming, before we started recording, that I was with Michael W. Green, and that's one thing I didn't understand is how. Yeah, I mean, and it's long hours.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One scene will take how many takes? That
I think being on a set where there is, because I think it has to be a balance of work and play. Being on a set where there's one of these two extremes, where there's all work and no play, or all play and not enough work.
and I can see how both of them could be a problem.
Yeah.
All work, no play. It's stressful.
Right.
People get worked out.
Right.
Worked up. I mean,
right.
It's
right.
too much.
Right.
And you said earlier.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. It's a job. It's work, but it's supposed to be fun.
Absolutely.
It's supposed to be fun.
Why we're here? It wouldn't. I mean, might as well have fun while we're here.
But all play, nothing's gonna get done either, and you're not gonna take the project seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. Totally makes sense. Any issues with people being late, people being unprofessional?
It happens. Oh yeah, it happens.
Have you ever wanted to quit a project, or have you ever had to need to quit a project or halfway through it?
Yeah, sometimes when you have projects, especially when you start working on projects that are sequels and things of that nature, sometimes it's hard to keep people engaged for the long haul, and and then actors, I'm an actor myself, actors get busy, and if you're hoping to get done in a certain amount of time, with a project, and then a year later, 2 years later, now 3 years later, you're like, okay, what's going on? When can we get this done so that we can all get it done, not just for my sake, but for everybody's sake. And so that can be hard sometimes. Just trying to keep the momentum and the enthusiasm for something, and production just keeps getting stretched out and stretched out and stretched out. Yeah,
that's interesting. You said a project will take 3-4 years. How do you handle that? Because at the beginning of the film, especially with certain ages, if you're in your 30s, maybe 40s, you can get away with it. But if somebody's in their late 60s playing a part, 3-4 years is a big difference.
it is.
Or even or you get a young lady who's playing a very young person, 10, 12 years old, 3-4 years, she's already literally a young lady or a young man.
Absolutely.
And so how do you handle that? How do you fix that?
Well, I mean, that's that's where you have to pick up the pen and you have to
Rewrite.
or you cast older versions of that person just to make story sense.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. So you have to okay, we have to
Yeah.
redirect this
Right.
this plot.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you had films where that are completed, but you just never released it?
Yeah, I mean, some films, they're complete and they haven't been released because they haven't been picked up by distribution
Okay.
yet. And then some films, some things just shouldn't see the light of day. I mean, it's what comes with it. Sometimes your best stuff is done, and sometimes not so much. And so I always want to be somebody that can put out a pretty good representation of who you are and what you're about, and if not, then don't release it.
What's the biggest misconception about being a filmmaker?
That you're rolling in dough, and that everybody's balling, and just people see the reels and the interviews and the red carpet and all that other type of stuff, and they fail to realize that some people are bivocational. Some people work a 9 to 5. Some people are doing other things just to keep things afloat while they're filming. So don't let the image fool you.
How hard is it really to get a project funded or even finished?
Getting a project funded. I mean, there are a lot more resources now at people's disposal to be able to do that. It used to be a lot harder to get a project funded, but I mean, you can finance films. There are a number of different ways to get a project funded. Getting a project finished, that you got to have the right mix of actors, the right crew, and a commitment to finish. Understanding that for me, I try to anticipate obstacles and problems from the jump, so that when they come, there's no surprises. It's going to happen.
It's not if, but when it happens.
Yes, it's going to happen. And so it's my job to navigate that and to make sure that we get to the finish
line. This is a little bit. Have you ever had to compromise on a project?
Compromise from what perspective?
Whether it's your faith, moral, whatever.
Absolutely not. That's one of the things that and I'm cut a little bit different. Everybody's different. Some people just see it as it's just art and I'm just portraying a character. But for me, even in the professional world, years ago, I was working somewhere and I was asked to do something unethical on the job, and they were paying me, but I chose not to do it because my values are my values. They threatened me. At the time, I had my oldest daughter was 1 year old, and we were pregnant with my second daughter, and some people would probably be nervous and scared, but my trust is in God. Amen. And so they threatened me, put my feet to the fire. Hey, if you don't do this, we're gonna fire you. A couple of weeks later, they come back. Hey, did you change your mind? Nope. My values are my values. Next thing you know, I'm being walked out. And so in my exit interview, I remember being asked, so do you have anything you want to say to us? And I was like, this is great. I saw it as a win. It's all about perspective, man.
Yeah.
I saw it as a win. I saw it as God opening up, other doors for me, and I didn't need to be in an environment that was going to ask me to do something. And so I bring those same values into filmmaking, and as an actor, I have a set of core values. Anytime I submit for a role, I have a document that lets people know what I will and what I won't do. And if they're cool with it, cool. If not,
I'm proud of you for that. Yeah, that you have never compromised your beliefs or your morals.
It's not worth it.
Just for a buck.
It's not worth it.
So you have walked away from certain projects, and you've had to turn down certain projects, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even gotten clowned on social media, for my values.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you incorporate your beliefs without it feeling forced? Whether through your film, or whether talking to somebody, or whether doing an interview, which I'm sure you've been interviewed by people who are not Christians.
Yeah.
How do you incorporate your beliefs and your faith without it being forced?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has an agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I pray for opportunities in any context that I'm in, whether it's an interview or whatever the case may be. I pray for a door of I pray for a door of utterance to be able to share my faith.
Mm-hmm.
And so up until that time, I'm just going to be, who I am and be authentic as an individual, as a human, that kind of deal. But then I look for those opportunities, but I'm not pushing the envelope, so to speak. And so sometimes, we have to learn that before people can come to know God and to trust God, they got to be able to trust us first. And so, that's one of the things that I aim to do.
Do you feel responsible for the messages your films put into the world?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's intentional.
Huh.
It's an agenda. Yeah, it's So let me say it this way. I believe that, when you start talking about faith-based, filmmakers, I believe that we have a couple of different camps, right? I believe that there are some people who they are making films to stir the church up, right? Which the church needs it. But then there are others of us, I consider myself somebody to be in another camp who I tend to, I have a broader reach. I want to reach the world, and I want to reach people that know God. And so it looks different, and the texture of the storytelling, looks different. But by the same token, I believe there's an audience for all, and I think there's room for all. I mean, it's not for me to look at the filmmaker who's, their aim and their focus is, I'm here to try to stir up the church. I'm not here to throw rocks at them, but I don't need you throwing rocks at me either. We have different assignments, but we're after the same goal. And so, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. What does your process look like from idea to the final cut?
Ooh. So from idea, I typically like to, write out a treatment outline, storyboard sometimes. Other times, sometimes I like to even do just even a concept teaser, just to try to, just let my creative juices go to work even before filming. And so then obviously you have the script writing process, and the whole aspects of production. But then there's the delivery room called editing. And, you know, you have to be flexible, right? You know, it's about, at the end of the day, telling the best story that you can tell. So even if the best story that you can tell is not what's on the page, and it happens in the editing room, and you have to move some of the puzzle pieces around, so be it. And you have to be flexible. You have to let the story breathe and let it do what it's going to do. And that's what it's about, trying to tell the best story that you can tell. Yeah.
You mentioned editing. How long is editing for?
Well, I'm not an editor.
Okay, so you have an editing team.
But I've been in that delivery room, and it varies by projects. You know, some editing on some projects has taken years. I've seen some editing on projects that's, you know, taken a few weeks. I've seen some editing on projects that, you know, took 3-6 months. So it really varies by project and skill, and sometimes even resources. You know, sometimes, because that's a whole nother expense. You know, the whole post production. The whole post production aspect of it. And sometimes filmmakers they account for all the stuff pre-production, production, but then they don't account for post-production, and that's a whole nother expense. And yeah.
Wow. Are you someone who plans everything ahead of time, or do you discover things along the way?
As far as like in the filmmaking process?
Yeah.
I do a little bit of both. I mean, I think you have to have a plan. Because if you have a plan, one, I believe it gives you credibility and causes other people who take their craft and their time seriously to want to work with you. But then, but just having a degree of flexibility too, that if we need to pivot, we'll pivot, and so I try to do a little bit of both, because changes will come.
So it's easy to say you're more of a structured person.
Yeah.
And but like you said,
yeah,
flexibility is important.
Absolutely.
If you need to, we might have to take this direction now.
Yeah.
Obvious, for example, years could pass, and what's been a project that didn't really go the way you hoped?
Didn't really go the way I hoped. Let me see. Oh, that's a good question. Project that didn't really go the way I hoped. Well, without talking about one project, let me say it this way. There have been a lot of projects that I've worked on that were finished.
And that you worked on, that it wasn't yours.
Right, not mine. But I mean, but as an actor, there have been projects that I worked on, you know, that didn't, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
And
did you get paid?
Sometimes. but you know, I think the downside to that, you know, as an actor, you're just like, man, you know, you work hard on something, and you want to see it cross the finish line. But you know, for me, when I'm a content creator, and I hope people that work with me can attest to this, if I start something, I'm gonna finish it. So anybody that's ever worked on a project with me, and I was the content creator on, or what have you, we finished what we started. We finished what we started.
Is failure necessary for growth in your industry, in this industry?
Was that?
Is failure necessary for growth in the film industry?
Absolutely. Failure is a part of success. I mean, it's not an enemy of success. It's a part of success. They're twins. They go together. They work together. I mean, as long as you keep getting better, it's working. It's working together for you. Yeah. Learn from it. Grow from it. Don't make the same mistake next time.
Here's a little follow-up. Has there ever been a time where you said, "This, I'm not meant for this anymore"?
No, but I've had other people say that I wasn't meant for this.
Really? Dude, that's amazing. And it's sad to see people want to see you fail, want to see me fail.
Yeah.
They want it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And you almost feel bad for them, not for you, not for you, but for them.
Yeah.
It's sad to feel, dude, you have to have such a dark heart.
Yeah.
Such a black heart, or such a sad life, or such a sad, Yeah. Damn, wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you want your films to have on people?
To bring people hope and to let people know that, regardless of the mountain, regardless of the giant, you can overcome it. So those are the things. Obstacles, from obstacles to opportunity. There's nothing too hard for God.
In film, how do you want to be remembered?
For consistency and longevity.
And this somewhat more or less what I asked you earlier, but it's a little. Do you think filmmaking is just storytelling, or just responsibility, or both?
I think it's both. Yeah.
Why?
So is it just storytelling, or is it a responsibility? Because you have to be. I feel like you have to be. Anybody can just get out here and just make stuff, right? Which it's art, okay? We call anything art in today's time. But I'm not knocking that, but some of us are called to it, and when you're called to do something, there's a responsibility that goes with it, and not just doing things in excellence, but also even challenging systems and challenging methods and ways of doing things. Yeah, there's a responsibility aspect that comes with that as well. So yeah.
Let's go to your faith now.
Okay.
At what point did your faith become real for you? Not just something you knew. Obviously, we all know about God. Even the non-believers.
Sure.
But when did the God become? When did it become real? When did he become? When did Jesus? When did you become saved?
Yeah. So growing up, I grew up in a Christian home. My mother, people that know her know. She was a woman of God, man. She ate it. She drank it. She breathed it. She lived it. Perfect? No. Who is? And so I knew the foundation was there. So, went to church growing up and, different things of that nature. And I remember in my teen years, so fast forward, let me back up. So her and my father got a divorce when I was like really, really young. And so she remarries, the guy who became my bonus dad. And he's in the picture from 7 years old to about 12 years old. And I felt like I was on top of the world. I was like, man, I got it. That was a big deal. That was a big deal for me. And then when I remember waking up one day and the house was quiet. I'm like, Mom, where's Dad? And she's like, we're not together anymore. And so from that point on, I have a prodigal son story. And so from probably 12 to 17, I went out into a far country, like the prodigal son, and got involved in a lot of wild, crazy things. And one of my, man, I get emotional still thinking about it, man, because it's still real. It's real, man. It's so real. It's so real. one of my good friends at the time came to school one morning and he's like, "Hey man, I'm a new man." I'm looking. He said, "Man, I can't do what I did no more." What you talking about? Man, I got saved last night. Man, get out of here. And I guess that was hard for me to digest because I was somebody who I felt like I was too far gone for the Lord to save me. And and it was the first time in my life that I heard the audible voice of God. And there was a voice throughout the rest of that day that kept saying to me the words, "It's for everybody. It's for everybody. It's for everybody. It's for everybody." All day long, and wore me out. The voice, the love of God wore me out, chased me down. I remember getting home later on that evening and just remember crying out to God in my own way. And I said, "God, if this is you and you're trying to get my attention, and if you can do anything with this life, save me." And see, I was the class clown in high school too. So when I came back to school, this is at the end of my junior year. When I came back to school with my Bible in my hand the next day, everybody's like, "What? Hold on. Wait a minute. Come on, bro. Stop. Just don't. What character are you playing today? What are we doing today?" And I mean, and I remember telling everybody, I was like, "Man, no, it's real." And people, they laughed at my face. And because that's what people had grown accustomed to knowing about me and believing about me. You just didn't know what to ever expect. So prior to that, I had gotten some trouble and was facing some criminal charges. Both of the charges got dropped. You would have thought that I learned from that, but I didn't. But God knows what to use to get our attention. I remember the 3 days leading up to the day that I answered the call to salvation. I couldn't sleep for 3 days.
Wow.
And I was having open visions about the reality of hell. And I know we live in a day and age where some people know they don't believe in heaven and they don't believe in hell either, but I was having open visions about hell. And I was afraid to go to bed. I was afraid to go to sleep because I knew where my eternity. And so even though I was doing my thing, I knew God was real. My issue was never, was God real? My issue was the issue that I have with his people. But then when I got saved, God had to allow me to realize that you can be the Christian that you've always wanted to see. You don't have to be like that. You can set a different standard. And so that became my aim. You know, even as the scripture tells us in the book of Romans that all men are without excuse. You know, we can't blame it on this person, that person, this. No, that has nothing to do between you and God. He's the one who made you, and he made you for himself. So those are excuses, and those are lies, you know, from the enemy. And I was believing lies. The whole time there was a God who loved me, who sent his son for me, and more than, I think the most fascinating thing to me about God is that regardless of, you know, where I was before I came to know him, and even the times where, you know, I haven't made the best choices, even on this side, he still wants me. It's a lot of people will say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, but they don't want you. Don't come over here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be near you. I love you though.
Oh, distance.
And I'm gonna talk to you on the phone, and I'll do the screen stuff, and you know, we'll do the, you know, all the stuff on social media, and I'll follow you and I'll do that. But I don't want you. I don't want you. I love you. God said, I want you. Ain't nobody doing that. Can't nobody love you like that. Can't nobody love you like that. No. My wife, you know, she loves me with everything she has. She can't love me like that. I love her with everything I got. I can't love her like that.
Wow. And what's amazing, the cross. And this to put it into perspective, to put it a little bit more personal, and people can't wrap. I couldn't wrap my mind around the time. I had to go to real deep thought. Jesus was thinking about me. Let's talk about your health. When I first hit you up,
Yeah.
one of the reasons we man, again, this what 2 years in the making of us getting together to do this, and it was originally going to be through screen.
Right. I'm glad we did it like this.
I'm glad to, and I wanted to do it in person on purpose.
Okay.
Because it's that meaningful to me.
Yeah.
The first time you and I tried to get together, we couldn't because either
scheduling,
either I had, and then after you had your health scare.
Yeah.
Talk to you about that. What happened?
Man. So the story goes, I'm teaching my son to drive, right? We have a rite of passage in my house that when my kids turn 11, I teach them how to drive. And so my two oldest daughters, I taught them, and so now it's my son's turn, and he's doing this thing, he's driving and doing good. I'm like, all right, son, good job. Pull over. And we had already, you know, gone through, you know, the difference between the gas and the brake and all this other stuff. And I'm like, son, pull over, stop the car. And so, you know, we're driving from the vacant part of the parking lot to now we're driving, he's driving, and it's happening so fast that I can't react. I can't stop the car. I can't get to where he is, pull him out of the driver's seat, nothing. And so now we're going into the part of the parking lot where to my left is a light post. To my right is somebody sitting in a parked car. He's going in the direction of the parked car, and I can't stop the car fast enough. And so at that time, my fatherhood instincts kicked in, and I jumped out of the car, and I got between my car that he was driving, the car that he was getting ready to hit, stopped the car, absorbed the blow, but because of the impact, I got smashed between two cars. That's what happened. I was I was paralyzed from the waist down. I laid on the ground. A lot of people don't believe in the power of prayer and don't believe in miracles. I do. I've seen too many in my life. I laid hands on my body. I was swimming in the parking lot using my upper torso because my legs, I had no activity, no function in my legs. And I laid hands on my body. The Bible says that we can lay hands on the sick and they'll recover. I laid hands on my body. Begin to speak God's word over my body. Begin to call life back into my body. And the next thing I know, my toes start wiggling. The next thing I know, blood flow came back into my legs, into my body. The next thing I know, I had my function back. I was still in pain, but I went back. But that's the part of the story that most people don't know. And he's still doing miracles.
Yeah, because you told me that I've seen your posts and I've seen your and what's most amazing to me is your positivity, your faith is amazing. It's still strong because every time I ask you how you feel, every day is better. Every day is better.
Yeah.
But something is, and this is the reason why it was so important for us to do it in person. You drove here.
Yeah.
You walked. You didn't wheelchair. You didn't use crutches. You walked.
Yeah.
From your car here.
Yeah.
That's why to me it's so important, guys. The power of the Lord is huge. The power of faith and prayer is true.
That same car from the accident.
Really?
The same car that should have been totaled. That same car is driving. That same
The
car,
impact was that hard.
that same car just has a scratch.
Maybe a dumb question. I'm not scared. Were you scared?
Absolutely.
Tell me your thought process. Walk me through your thought process during that time. From the moment you obviously it was instincts. Obviously, you just said that with instinct, your dad instincts, your father instincts. You jumped out, you walked, but after the impact, or as you were seeing the car hit you, walk me through your thought process. What were you thinking during when you got hit and afterwards?
I wasn't even concerned about me. As much pain as I was in, I was concerned about my son. I was concerned about the person that was in the parked car. Are they okay? That's what I was thinking about. Then by that time, ambulance came to the scene. Officers were there. And I called my wife by that time to let her know what had happened. But I was also thinking about, were there going to be like any was I going to get cited for anything? Because they could have saw it as me being a negligent
Mm-hmm.
parent. So I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I'm dumb of a dad. Am I? And, is the other person going to fight charges? All these things are going through my mind. Then I start thinking about insurance, right? But their car wasn't impacted. The only minor little dent that they had on that car was not the cars hitting each other, because I absorbed the blow. It was my body, the imprint of my body in their car.
Oh, man, that's a massive hit. But
Yeah. So in all of that, man, God's hand was in the whole situation. From me, the guy who was on the ground, preserving my son, preserving the other person. No citation. No issues with the insurance company, which would have caused, obviously mine to soar and go up. Man, grace and mercy kissed each other. Grace and mercy kissed each other.
Yeah, what's amazing to me about that story right now is because your legs, you could have been crushed, because I'm doing a visual as you're describing. I'm doing a visual. You were imprinted into the guys. You could have been crushed. So the Lord saving you from that.
Should have been crushed.
The Lord saving you from that is good enough. No, He went above and beyond. And I think part of it is because of who you are. God could sometimes we have lessons, and no, God, that's of who you are. You're thinking about everybody else before yourself. And technically, we're called to do that. We're the Word of God says it. We think of others before ourselves.
Yeah.
And you did that, not just for your son, for a total stranger.
Mm-hmm.
The two vehicles, they could just easily do. No, you're gonna risk your life.
Yeah.
And God went above and beyond.
Yeah.
Saved you money, saved you probably getting arrested.
Grace and mercy.
Losing your son.
Grace and mercy kissed.
Okay, they could have taken your son away from you. I'm not gonna say it's, man. I think we've all put our kids behind the wheel at a certain age. My kids were 5, 6 years old. Put them on land, driven around the block.
Yeah.
Because my dad did that with me.
Right.
So I saw wanted them to, and they loved it. So we've all done that. But the grace, yeah. Wow, man. That's at what moment though do you say this is the stuff got real? This is real.
Where I'm in real pain with a real injury. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. This is real. Or this could be life changing.
So I got my feeling back in my body, but the pain was such that now that I was able to get up off the ground, I couldn't take a step, couldn't move. My will and the stubborn nature that God has blessed me with wanted to say, just pick yourself up, walk to the car, go home, get a muscle relaxer. It'll feel better in the morning. Couldn't do it. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then when I see the ambulance scraping me off the ground with the gurney, oh, you're not going home tonight. You're going to the hospital, and yeah.
You're gonna be there for a minute.
Right. Right.
And you were.
Yeah.
What was your conversation with the Lord like during this time? What were you telling God? What was your conversation with God like?
I was beating myself up. And he had to allow me to realize that, it was his hand still in the situation. Because I was, thinking, how horrible of a dad am I to allow something like this to happen? But then I had to realize, too, in the same breath, how horrible of a dad would I have been had I not gotten in the way and absorbed the blow. And then my son would have ran into that car and both people could have died. How horrible of a dad would I have been then? I call that a coward. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you. Yeah, and then if again, praise the Lord, this is just hypothetical. How would you have felt afterwards? I mean, you didn't do nothing. And not both, but one of them. Just one, even one of them would have died. So yeah, so you did the only thing.
I didn't want to live with that.
No.
I don't want to live with that. So I said, if anybody's going to be hurt in this situation, it's going to be.
How was your faith at that moment? Did it feel strong? Was it tested?
From the early onset of the accident, or now I'm in the hospital?
Doctor, there were the times where you felt strong, or did you feel optimistic, or was it? Did you feel, or was it? Were you constantly tested after you saw the ambulance? After you saw the ambulance, you said, "Oh man, I'm this is bad."
Yeah. So let's get to the hospital. So we're at the hospital, right? And my X-rays and everything have come back, and I have 5, 6 fractures in my body, both hips, fractured a bone in my vertebrae, a couple other fractures, fractured my tailbone. And I'm like, oh. So couple that with my wife is 8.5 months pregnant.
Oh man, wow.
She can't work, and neither can I. We already have 5 kids at home, and we're getting ready to have number 6. Lord, don't let my family end up homeless. Lord, if you don't make a way, I don't know what to do. Lord, you gave me this family. And so I'm putting the pressure on you to take care of this family. And a thought came to me. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't want people to see me like that. And it was the idea to create a campaign similar to a GoFundMe. It's called Meal Train. And I was like, man, no, I can't. I don't want to put myself out there like that. I don't want to be naked in front of people. And then the Lord had to put it to me like this, because he talks to me. He talks to me straight. Would you rather be naked or would you rather be homeless? Okay. Wife, hey, help me put this campaign together. And my family is, forever grateful to people who sold into us, in that time of testing. Some gave monetary gifts, some donated meals. I can't thank you guys enough. And yeah, man.
What did you what has this season of your life taught you about life?
How precious it is. Also, the things the commodities in life that are precious: people, relationship with God, faith, memories. And just the power of a second chance.
Amen. Has anything changed in you after that? After this incident?
Let's see. I think my drive is stronger. It was stronger before, but just like my drive, my fight, my zest, my things that I wanted to accomplish before the accident. I want to even more now, because just going through this healing journey, I've had moments where I've had to trick my mind. There are times where, I remember the first day I was in physical therapy, one of the things that they did for my pre-test was, now mind you, I can't even barely walk. But the whole point of physical therapy is pushing you to limits and boundaries you never thought possible. And so my pre-test involved walking up 2 flights of stairs twice. Now that sounds like a piece of cake, for everybody who's functional. But then when you don't really have the full function of your limbs, that's like climbing a mountain. And But then I'm motivated because I kept thinking about I got a baby girl, and I'm like, I can't let her see me like this the rest of my life, and so that pushed me as well. 2 weeks in the hospital, 1 week in rehab, and the week that I get out of rehab, just got cleared to drive to be able to take my wife to the hospital.
Wow.
Still not well, but cleared to drive.
The reason why I'm laughing, I'm smiling is that
Man.
God is not grace and mercy, but his timing is perfect.
Man. 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 Yes, sir. Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How long was the physical therapy for?
So I'm still doing physical therapy, but in the hospital. So I was 2 weeks in the hospital, 1 week in physical therapy. Oh, hospital! I got to go back to that. Sorry. So I'm already in pain, right?
Yeah.
And been in the hospital 48 hours, and they're already trying to send me home. I'm like, I can't go home. My wife can't tend to me. My kiddos can't. I said, I can't go home. And so it was a fight to even stay in the hospital because they were trying to get me to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And then then trying to, okay, well, y'all got to find me a rehab or something to go to. And then I ended up finding out on my own that the hospital actually had a rehab, and nobody told me. I found out on my own.
Wow.
And, there were even doctors who tried to bully me. A posse of doctors walked in one day, and there was about 5 of them. And the lead doctor, walked in and was like, hey, you've been here long enough. I'm sure you can find, somewhere to go, somebody's couch, family member, loved one, friend, somebody's couch that you can go sleep on, that kind of deal. And I mean, he kept charging and walking up toward the bed like he was getting ready to like push me out the bed. And I sat up, with the little remote control thing you have on your bed. I sat up with the strength that I had, and I looked the doctor in his face. I said, I ain't going nowhere until y'all find me a rehab to go to. I'm not well enough to go home. I don't have enough support at home to go back home. I ain't going nowhere. And I didn't. And I fought and I fought and I fought just to even get to rehab.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you pretty much have to learn how to walk, though, right?
Had to learn how to walk all over again without assistance, regaining balance. And then it took a while even for the pain and the swelling to subside. And then the bones, I don't know, it's been really interesting too, because, it's allowed me to, really get to know the intricate design of the human body. And, typically when we think of bones and, things healing, we're like, oh, okay, it just healed and went back together. Bones don't heal like that. Bones have a very, very unique, complex makeup and nature. And so I'm going into the 9th month of my healing journey. And I was a little bit frustrated at first, or at different times throughout my journey. I've been frustrated. It's like, why is it taking so long, and that kind of deal. But I'm content and I'm at peace. And I just remember telling God a few months ago, However long it takes.
Some people take years.
Yeah. However long it takes. However long it takes. But I just want to make sure that, my kids and my new baby girl, that she had some memories with me,
How old is your baby now?
She is just turned 7 months. I know.
Wow.
I know.
And time flies.
It does.
You met one of my kids.
Yeah.
24.
Just like that.
Seems like it was yesterday.
I know.
My daughter, 29.
Yeah.
Seems like it was yesterday. She just turned 6 months of marriage.
Man.
Seems like it was yesterday.
Man. Tell you, man.
They are a blessing, man.
They are.
They are a blessing.
They are.
How old are your other kids? How old is your oldest?
Yeah, so the other 5 kiddos, 15-year-old, 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 9-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So it's live.
And that 15-year-old probably knows it all, right?
Yep.
And it's interesting. Yeah, 6 kids, all with 6 probably different personalities.
All different. All different.
That's how I do with my 3.
and one boy, so we outnumbered.
Ooh.
Yep. Just one.
That's a lot of estrogen.
Man, it get rough. It get rough sometimes. I just grab him and I just grab the keys. I'm like, hey man, just come get in the car with me. We're going around the corner. Just anything down the street, something. Just
let's get away.
You look like you need it too. Come on, let's go. Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. You are an inspiration.
Yeah.
I want you to know that you are an inspiration. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
For your family.
Yeah.
What a blessing, man.
Yeah, they're teaching me how to. I'm in phase 2 now, so they're teaching me how to learn how to jump all over again. Jumping comes before running because they asked me what my goals were, and I told them I said I want to be able to learn how to run again and be able to get back to normal living. I mean, I was active person before the accident. I want to get back to that.
So you're able to jump now. You're learning how to jump.
I'm learning.
Wow.
I'm learning.
Are you scared?
It's a lot of it's mental.
Get out of your head and
yeah.
If they didn't think you could do it, they will tell you, no, hey, stay away from that.
Yep.
How many surgeries did you have? How many surgeries were there? None? How is that? Well, wow. I figured, yeah, and I don't now come to think about it, I don't recall ever seeing any messages or any posts or anything like that of you coming out of having surgery or anything.
That's another miracle.
But but I just needed to
one event, multitude of miracles. Paralyzed from the waist down, no surgery.
Yeah, usually when paralyzed from the waist down, you need to learn how and talk about with the bones and all that stuff. That's usually it takes repair.
Yeah,
but it was divine repair.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what's something people get completely wrong about you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, probably because I don't care.
That's a fair answer.
I don't know because I don't care.
That's like I love it. I love that answer.
Like so here's what I do care about. Here's what I do care about. I care about. I want to make sure that my life is pleasing to God. I want to make sure that I treat my fellow man with dignity, love, respect, things like that. But I don't care what anybody thinks about this guy. As long as I'm treating people right, as long as I'm doing what I can to please God, I don't care what people think about this guy. I don't. Yeah, I think a real fear for me is just realizing that the same God who built my body is the same God that's right there in the rebuilding process. Because, now that I'm in this phase where I'm learning how to jump, naturally in your mind, you're like, can my body handle the impact of, that kind of force? And it sounds like so simple. That's because, most folks have the activity of their limbs and they don't think about it.
Yeah.
But when you think about your body going up and your body coming down, hitting the ground, there's force, real force. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, just, making sure that nothing falls apart again, that I don't step too hard, that I don't, all of these things. But I have to do those things to get my body, strong again, to be able to do the things that I want to do. Because I'm going to jump again. I'm going to run again. I am. I'm determined.
Amen. No, that's awesome, man.
I don't know how long it's going to take, but however long it takes.
Like what you told God earlier. As long as it takes.
However long it takes, I'm committed.
You gotta leave it up to Him.
Yep.
Your wife, how was she throughout this whole time? How was she feeling? How was? I think we could share.
Man, my wife is a champion, man. She's a trooper. She just has this. There's always a quiet confidence with her. She may not have a lot of words to say, but when she does speak, people listen. And man, 8.5 months pregnant, and that's some kind of woman. I don't even have, like, I can't even really articulate in words, just how amazing she is. But God made her for me.
Amen. Amen. Dream actor or actress you would want in your next film or in the future?
A new undiscovered talent.
I love that.
I know that sounds weird.
No, it doesn't. Believe it or not, it doesn't. And you're not the first one to answer that question like that.
Yeah.
You're not. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because, some people would probably say, "Oh, look at the Warfield."
I mean, no,
nothing wrong.
Not to slight, anybody else, but
no.
I mean, come on, the world is full of how many people? I want to see some other faces, some other expressions, some other talent emerge.
What's next for you, man?
Man, just staying focused on my healing, and just trying to work on this EP, for the spoken word project, in hopes that I can do a volume 2 album. Hope to get back to some more filmmaking and getting in front of the camera. Have an award ceremony to go to in a few weeks in Atlanta. So shout out to Dr. Deontay Bolden, the Bolden Awards. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, got a film premiere of a film that I was in before the accident. That's coming up. film called He Heard My Cry. So that premiere is coming up on the 17th of this month. So, man, I'm just excited, just about different things that God is doing, and just taking in the simple graces of life, and just, man, life is precious.
Amen.
Yeah.
We mentioned at the beginning of this, you have a bunch of films coming out.
Yeah.
Which one are you mostly looking forward to?
Oh. It's really, really hard to say, but I'll say, just because it's getting ready to come out and we have the premiere coming up, I'll say He Heard My Cry is one that I'm really, really excited about, because it has there's so many parallel storylines in the story, and all of these storylines have connection points, and yeah, I'm really excited about He Heard My Cry, man. It's a cool one. I play a pastor in the film, and but it's different. It's a different kind of portrayal. When you think of a pastor in a movie and that kind of it's man. I mean, the storytelling was brilliant. Man, I'm excited about He Heard My Cry. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. If someone is watching this right now, or whoever's watching this right now, is going through fear, uncertainty,
yeah,
maybe even a health scare like what you went through,
yeah,
what would you like to tell them?
I mean, let go, let God. I mean, he's called the captain of our salvation for a reason. He knows what he's doing with our lives. He knows where he's going. We can trust him with our whole life. Every detail of our life. The Bible says that the very hairs of our head are numbered. So every detail of our life, God is concerned about it. He's not just distant and unconcerned with our lives. He cares about all areas of our life. So let go. Let God. Trust him. He knows the end from the beginning and everything in between. And watch him order your steps.
Amen. What a great way to end. Folks, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Share this episode with somebody that might need to hear Theo's story, especially the snippets that I'm going to be posting. Let me share a lot of little clips from this episode because it's amazing, man. Thank you
bro.
so much, man.
Love you, man. Thank you.
Love you, man. Guys, again, his films, his IMDb page, his all his pages, his Tubi page for your films, they're gonna be on the description of this episode. Guys, God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode.